We're going to ask all the panelists now to sit down, and we're going to have, I'd like to ask them a quick question, and then I think we're open here for other questions from the audience also, for anything that you might think would pertain to their particular topics. So thank you all for very inspiring and interesting conversations. While we're still with you, I have a question about how would you enact or facilitate the direction in international marketing circles for what you're doing now? How would you connect with that, and how do you get that established?
Thanks for the question. Is it working? Yeah, there is. It's also a question for us because we're starting this project with only one destination, which will be happening in January. So I'm flying to Colombia in 2 weeks to really craft the stories together with the community to really understand precisely what they want to offer. So it will take the story, right? The creative story and the coming basically from the soul of the persons we're working with. And the idea is to initially put it into the major platforms, and ideally those platforms actually support such projects by taking away their percentage. And I know that Airbnb and I think Civitas have this option, but the idea is to really work with the CSR officers there. And then also the idea is to really create local and international partnerships for this. So on the local side, to have the actual local government in place, and we're supported by the local government of the community on this initiative. And this can actually connect with the tourism platform of Colombia, which is connected with the Ministry of Culture, which can also raise us internationally. But where at this moment we don't have the funding, so it's going to be all about being very creative how to actually make this story appear internationally and keep going. We're also going to start 2 projects in Rio de Janeiro with 2 favelas, one that is not gentrified yet, and another one in Cali in Colombia. So, and by the way, the project is not only about delineating territorial vulnerable communities, but it also can be about any vulnerable community in a major Western city. So we're talking now to Vienna and to Lisbon, where I live, about helping refugee projects come up with their stories, or homeless projects in which they are connected with their own story of how they are in the city and bringing that alight into a co-creative way. And this thing will actually go beyond just digital, be also phygital, because in places like Rio, but also for the potential of spreading this further, you can also support them through the metaverse, because this will allow you to actually meet with Joao or Maria coming from Canberra, for example, or from Bangkok, and still support and still build friendships by seeing things that others can't see it, or supporting a project that actually brings that social transformation we all aspire for.
Thank you. Doctor, okay. How do you, I have, when I was listening to you talk, how do you plant the idea of
digital
ideas into the community? How do you work that into the...
I think because of the situation. I mean, because of COVID-19 as well. Because normally we do we do green market, which is more physical, and we invite everyone to see. We invite anyone to have physical experience, but because of the COVID-19, we're not allowed to go, right? So that's why I think that's why digital marketing and also kind of digitalization. I mean, how to make sure that people still thinking about us. I think you see that Thailand, we run a lot of campaign during COVID-19, let everyone waiting for us. When we open, please come to Thailand. So that's why we have a lot of training program from the central government, and also as educators, and I interested about how to balance and also apply the contents marketing into the local level. So that's why I think this is my interest, and also with the government level, they work very hard during the COVID-19 to just educate the local community to sell products and, how to just, and get the, make the people understanding about how to survive during COVID-19. I think everyone have the same story of, how to survive during COVID-19. So that's similar to the local community who want to, see the potentials themselves. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just a comment on that. And those of you who own or run businesses, I'm sure you've had issues with working not only digitally and collectively in terms of systems, point of sale and marketing systems and things where you have to find collaborators, staff to work with you, and you're hoping that they have these skills to work within your business to do the things you need to do. And when you're interviewing staff, you often ask them, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses? But we found over the years, through trial and error at our small inn, all of our employees are local, that we stopped going in that direction, and we went into the direction of finding people who were just truly charismatic when we interviewed them. And we figured out that, at least in our case, and I'm sure some of you will have similar conditions, that you gain 95% of what you need from a person who is charismatic, outgoing, and interesting to talk to, because you can teach anybody how to operate Word or an Excel sheet or a point of sale. So for authenticity, and particularly in ecotourism and sustainable tourism, you want people who can tell the story, and that means that they're charismatic. You can't teach somebody to smile. You can tell them to smile, but you can't teach them to smile. So this whole idea of digital mixed with physical is sort of, it dwells in that area a little bit. So thank you. Beatriz, I've been very aware and admired your work for so long in the GSTC and all the training that you've done, particularly in Latin America. What are the biggest impediments that you found for marketing people who want to be certified but maybe aren't ready to be certified, or that they want to learn the skills of certification, and how do you work through that?
I think that the two main blockages for certifications is this one, that certification, it's hard, difficult, you need a specialized people doing this, it will cost a lot, and as an inner process. And on the other side, the cost of a certification. And that's why I think that green destinations finally, with this scan and the pre-certification process, we have found, because we've been in early adoption process for GSTC for a destination, and nothing happened. We were with another certifying body of GSTC, and nothing happened in the bottom of the society. Mm-hmm. But now, with the top 100 and the scan process, we are talking to each other to tell them, do you have plastic bottles in your hotel? No, we don't. That is a good point in sustainability, because you are da-da-da-da-da. No? So maybe they are doing a lot of good things that they don't know. And we found that the original questions or the original syntaxes of the criteria or indicators, they are created by a specialist for a specialist. Mm-hmm. Okay. And our big labor has been on transforming those, as I say, this cloud in the sky as God. Sustainability is this and this and this that nobody understands, into daily life basis operation, activities, and in a way that everybody can understand. And I think that that's the turning point in which you can take as your own what sustainability is.
Yes, thank you. It's very true, I think. We found in Costa Rica we started our certification for sustainable tourism. Many of you know about it. It's certainly one of the best, in my opinion, the best certification for sustainable tourism program in the world. And it was started in 1995 based on the idea of not just environmental protection, but socioeconomic involvement with the communities, service to the client, education and training, and many other aspects. And during the period of growth, while we were certifying at first hotels, now it's rent-a-cars, tour operators, marine companies, it's everything, we started to get pushback from some of the major companies who were very sustainable and very conscious about their impact in society and life and in tourism, about how much time and energy it took them to create the necessary evidence to have traceability for their sustainability. And what was happening was the comments came down, which is very interesting, and it's an important part of how you market and how you think about sustainable certification, was that a lot of these people who were green to the core, whose souls were part of our growth in Costa Rica, we were dependent upon to give us information about sustainability, who were the leaders in the world and pioneers, were saying, I don't want to be certified because the money and time that I'm spending on doing that, I would rather put into my website with pictures and interactions and go to the community and spend that money and time to do things that really matter to me. So these are considerations that one has to think of when we're talking about certification. In the case of Costa Rica, it kind of resolved itself because people started to realize, at least in our case, it was a country brand. It was our brand of tourism, and that if you were certified, it showed the commitment and involvement in your country's particular way of doing tourism. But it also added to our, as it was used as a toolkit by which we were able to reduce our purchasing, supply chain involvement, reduction of energy, water, other things like that, which added up to be good for the bottom line. And so it became an economical plus for a lot of them. So it's kind of has its own pros and cons. In fact, and any of you who are interested, on our Global Ecotourism Network website, we have an article about the pros and cons of certification so that you can look at it. It's very neutral and you can make your own decisions. But I think it's a very important part when we talk about marketing. Do we use certifications for marketing? When I did a talk to the tourism board and the university in Costa Rica some years ago, I had all of these logos and slogans and all of the things at the bottom of our website. And when I began my talk with there was probably 500 people there, I said, how many in the audience have looked at the website for Finca Rosa Blanca, which is my coffee farm and inn? And everybody, it seemed like, raised their hands. And then I said, how many of you saw the page on sustainability where we have the CST logo, we have the ties, at that time we were part of TIE, and everybody said, yeah, we saw that. How many of you actually went to the CST website when you clicked on that logo? Like 3 people. So it dawned on me then, it wasn't because it didn't matter, it was just that people were being overcome now with all of the logos and the slogans and the images and the talk, and it became part of, almost in its weird, perverted sense, a kind of greenwashing unto itself. So I just wanted to add that, because when we talk about the GSTC, who's actually not a certifier, they're a verifier of certifications, it's important to talk about it. And speaking of that, in Zagreb, are you doing a certification for the county there?
Yes, we are now in the process, so I can confirm you that the process is really hard. In my team, I have only one person with me, so we are really focused on everything that is sustainable and what we do. And I can tell you that before pre-certification, when we went to a meeting, I knew that this was the thing that we wanted to do, and we had to do that. But the process is really hard. And in Croatia, if you think, I don't know, does anybody know that in Croatia, national income of tourism is 20%. So that's really high income for tourism, and we depend on that. So our national government is really trying to put a framework of legislation to put some law, not regarding only tourism, but sustainability, because a lot of part of Croatian seaside and some other parts are not sustainable like they should be. I can confirm that because I go on the seaside. I was in Split. Split is beautiful. Dubrovnik is beautiful. But I can tell for sustainability regarding my administration and my part of the job, Zagreb County, like I said, it's rural. It's authentic. It's something different. It is maybe easier to make certification than the seaside. But like we said, communication is the main thing that should be done, not only regarding stakeholders, but local farms, local citizens. Because when we went through one thing and we asked them, okay, do you know that sustainability is the main role that you should do in the next period? They said, okay, yes. Do you want to participate in that? Okay, yes, but don't disturb me. I have now a business I have to do. I'm a winemaker. I have a lot of problems with winemakers. I love wine. Really, I adore it. I made a manifestation. It is called Via Vino in Croatia, or Croatian, or Via Wine. But nobody understands that everything has to be sustainable, like they said. On manifestation, we have to have not plastic bottles. You have to watch on everything. And during the process of certification, and now we are still in it, everybody thinks that certification and sustainability is agriculture. That's not that. That's nothing similar. And I think that education is the main role of all us, not only in communication, but giving good examples about what we are doing, what are the good practices, because people don't know what is sustainability. I'm always trying to be on local media, and everything that I do is going viral. And that's the main thing. I think that communication has to be every day, it has to be authentic, it has to be honest, it has to be focused on the woman. So that's really, totally. And all my campaigns are really focused on women's part. But I think that in the future, in Croatia, I'm just thinking about that, we will have a lot of problems regarding our certification, not by continental part of Croatia, but the part of the seaside. I know that Malta is the leader of sustainability and everything, but I was in one congress in Turkey last year. And when I heard there that they are sustainable, I was thinking, okay. I was thinking that my part of the county isn't, but I can see. I think that we have to make progress from ourselves. We have to think to educate, to support, to communicate, and make difference. Like I see in Tallinn, I love to compare my part of the county and everything that I do with Tallinn when I'm now here. I can say that they are great. They are doing green job. Education between hospitality is even better than some other parts of Europe. But communication is the main thing that we should do. Education and, after all, certification.
Okay. Hold on to that. Okay. So we could talk all day, and I think at some point in the near future we need to have a big discussion about certification and also the terminologies we're using now. I don't think sustainable is really cutting it anymore, but it's for lack of a better global definition of what we're trying to do in terms of responsible practices. We'll stick with that. So any questions from anybody in the audience who wants to ask us? Please try to make your questions short so that we have enough time for everybody.
Yes, so I'd like to be, I would try to be short. It's related with education, because we are discussing quite a lot about educating different communities, but maybe you can give just some advice how to find this balance between too difficult education about sustainability and too soft education, because sometimes it sounds very soft. Just, with some advices. Thank you very much.
Are you talking about education like in schools, or are you talking about the educational process
more
of
public,
your business?
maybe, yeah.
What's that?
More public,
Public,
not,
oh,
yeah.
Okay.
More wide, I would say.
Okay, thank you for that question as well, because it relates to the university level. So I think if we talk about public, what Thailand doing at the moment, I think we do a lot of sustainability curriculum in not only for university, but also we're talking about how university engage to the local community and give kind of training program, let them understand about what's sustainability like. And I think right now everyone focus on SDG. Here, I think, or the sign that everything linked to SDG, but the local community, they don't understand what is linked to their life. Okay, so that's why I think mentoring system with the right communication key message is important. And I think because I've been working with the community for such a long time, not only being in the university, and that's why I can see the gap between communicate with the new generation and also with the communicating with the local communities. One thing that is similar is they don't want us to feel that they are not equal. Okay, if I train my student, which is they are international students, right? They are kind of luxury and things that. At the same time, we train the local community who have have a little limit income and things. But at the same time, we have to change our attitude. Is as when you are, even particularly, I am the doctor, I don't like everyone to call me doctor. I have to be. So when I go down, I have to be their friend, their family, talking with them we are talking in the same family. With my student, with the new generation, we have to understand what they really want to know. Right now, they are more focused on how they can think about business, that they can support locals and support society and environments. I think right now, my student over than 80%. That's because of the university have the curriculum clearly about how to put all marketing, strategic management, or those subjects that link to management with the sustainability concept. So that's why I think that's just linked to how to make sure that you understand what you are talking with who. And at the same time, you should focus on the idea and concept of the key message. Because when we talk about sustainability, there's a lot of things, but you have to make sure that you understand what they really want to listen to. Yes.
May I? Thank you. What we have been doing in Riviera Maya, it's first to create these KPIs. Let's say we need to work about water, local well-being, waste management, and biodiversity conservation. So we take each one of the KPIs that are the outcome of research and previous processes in which you can really take action. And we start with little things. Let's say water. Are you sure that your house is connected to the sewage system? No. And in that very little topic, we make a fun and nice communication with people, and we take them into the deep reality that we need to take care of water. Then if you go to biodiversity conservation, we involve people to do regeneration of the coral reef, or to take care of the sacred tree of the Mayans. It's called ceiba. Things that can people get related to in their daily lives. I think that that's a turning point in which you can see really the difference of the behavior of people.
Is that a question here?
It's not so much a question, it's more kind of a thank you, not only for the compliment to my shoes, Glenn, but it's long that I've been waiting to see these voices of the host community being reflected in tourism, certification, storytelling, etc. Because all these reviews, mostly, like compared to couchsurfing or so, that has been there quite a while. But finally, we are reaching a stage where we are asking the host community, people, what they think about tourism, and not only the tourists. Like the review system mostly is still about only the tourists being asked like how they enjoyed the experience, and not so much the host community. So in that sense, thank you to all of you for giving good examples how to do that and how to take that forward, and maybe how to implement that into existing certification, review schemes, booking engines, etc. Not really a question.
No. Thank you. Good observation. I just want to comment on that. I just came back. I was working with the Guyana Development Initiative, working with the eco-lodges in Guyana. For those of you who don't know, it's just below Venezuela in South America, one of the most biodiverse spots on the planet. And almost all of the eco-lodges and tourism in that country are indigenous community-owned and run. And my experience of going to, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 different eco-lodges, quite a rigorous trip. It was very interesting to talk to them about what they thought about ecotourism and why it was important to them. And what was interesting to me was, although I got great stories from them, of course, they looked at it as a way of survival for their community. And what they wanted from me was not just my stories about building my place, but how do I have financial sustainability? How do I continue to work doing this so that I can we can feed our community, we can impart our whatever wisdom we have, and they saw it as a business. And it was interesting that for them it was tied in very deeply into both sides of the picture. Another question, yes, back there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Katerina Kokinaki, and I'm Greek-Colombian. I'm saying that because I have a comment regarding all you're saying, like Beatriz mentioned something very interesting, which is think global, act local, which I have 2 cases. One is in Colombia, the other one is in Greece. Like in Colombia, years ago, my city is Medellin. So the capital of Colombia has no metro or tram or any like transportation system, but my city has it, which is the second main city in Colombia. When the metro was first inaugurated and launched, everybody was thinking like, oh, it's going to be a mess, it's going to be destroyed, because we didn't have the proper education, and we thought that we were not prepared for this, right? So at the end, we managed to have one of the most clean metro in Latin America, and I could say like in the world, because we are very, like our metro is very clean, very safe. And all this came from the education. Education was the key for that. Like you even have like the arrows in the on the floor, so you know that you can walk on the right side. Everybody listen to the same things on the metro, like please give the seat for the people that needs it, and blah blah blah. So at the end, we start to create love for the metro, to be very proud of our metro, and we start to take care and helping and teaching the tourists to take care of our metro. So this is one beautiful case for Colombia. And on the other side, in Greece, I work with a association, the Ecological Association for an Island, which is Elafonisos. It's a very small island, the only island in the Peloponnese. And we have a water kiosk because there is no drinkable water from the tap on the island. So our association donated a water kiosk, right? And we made a lot of efforts to make people go there, but people is not drinking the water, which is very interesting because the water is the best water you can consume on the island. Because the plastic bottles are, let's say, not very good for consumption, because if they see the sun, it could be very dangerous for health. Also, it's not good for the environment. And also, every person in the island is spending around 700 euros per year in water, in plastic water. So we have a water kiosk with 20 cents. You can get 10 liters. So if a family properly use it, they just spend 50 euros, 70 euros maximum per year. But they're not using it. We try to educate. We try to make many things, but they say that they think the water smells. So we try to give it to them, and they try, but they don't want it. So it's like we try to educate. So it's very difficult because I say in Colombia we had the metro situation, and now with the water kiosk, we're trying too hard to make people drink the water. Like if I give you a glass of poison and have a glass of water, clean water, and I tell you what do you want to drink, you will choose the good one, right? But they go and they choose the plastic bottle. So I don't know why it's too hard to educate local communities on the old thing that they can be proud of. So I just want to mention that there's two different cases, like in contrast from my two countries. And I think what you're doing is very interesting because you're taking actions already, because we have listened many years that sustainability is a challenge, that we have this problem, this other problem, but finally we are taking action. And I think this is very relevant. Thank you very much for everything.
Very good. I just want to add that the metro in Medellin, which is amazing, as she said, part of the reason that it's successful is that they built the National Library in the center of the favela up the mountain in Medellin, and built a gondola for the people, mostly poor people who live up in that area, to come down and meet the metro system, which created this great holistic way of traveling. It's a kind of communication. And it's really startling how remarkable. I didn't even see one paper anywhere on the floor of the metro, and people were very protective of it. So, yeah, great for Medellin.
I wanted to say, by the way, it's true about the metro. It's amazing there. So congratulations on your city. I just want to add one thing on the education. I think education is always, it's based on inspiring acts. So it's really important how you portray yourself as the tour operator or as the person running the services, and how you embody those values that you want to bring to others, because people will follow through. It's basically an energy exchange. And also, from a tourist perspective, it's always about KPIs that are very clear. If something is clear as an action, you see from A to B, this will deliver this, and you actually can see that in tangible elements, then you actually feel more proud of it. You can even share that, which would be another message that will actually convey more sustainability towards your own business. And from the perspective like favela or barrio social or shantytown or slum kind of ecotourism, my project also has an NGO. The NGO is based in Estonia, but I was not here to make it because it's easy to create something in Estonia, but now I'm here. So Ecomanca, and Ecomanca is basically building gamified learning journeys for vulnerable communities, for teenagers aged 13 to 18, in which they go through a 13-week change-making journey that starts from self-awareness, the idea of who I am, what do I want, what is my dream, the collective, why are we together, what makes us distinct and powerful, and then the idea that self-care equals nature care, how nature is suffering globally, how you can take action locally to reverse the process. And from that moment, they decide with a human-centered design on a problem they feel urgency and empathy towards in the community they want to solve. And from that moment, we use narrative game design, which could be physical or virtual, depending on the level of resources, and they solve that problem and they come up with a solution that is entrepreneurial and brings revenue to the community, which could be tourism, could be a protest, could be an art gallery. And those tours that we support, they're meant to be inspiring precedents for the teenagers as well. So in the end, that's how you can build sustainability, by really working on the youth level and building that element of embracing, I don't know, either all types of sustainability elements.
Thank you. That's great. That's really cool. I love that idea. I don't know. I think we're out of time, right? Is it? Just one question before we go. Do you have some? No. Do we have one question before we go? How many of you here in the audience had your minds changed or had an epiphany or changed directions in your business or your life after attending a conference like this?
One.
Only one.
No, there's one back there too.
Ask tomorrow.
Good choice. We hope all of you.
We need a shamanic ritual.
All of us.
Well, thank you everybody for any other, we're around, so
Thank
any
you
other
so much.
questions?